This is what I got in the mail day before yesterday. I don't know if you can see it, but it is mail from you-know-who saying his coronavirus guidelines for America. How are you going to send this to me in the mail and you are not even following your own guidelines? You are not doing what you're supposed to do. Steve Mnuchin sneezes into his hand? Really? Y'all are standing, I don't understand it. Here you telling me what to do and you talk about we're going to be back and ready to do stuff in 2 weeks. Dude, what are you doing? Don't send this out. Don't send these out anymore because you're sending out mixed messages. I know Megan feels the same way about what she saw. What did you see, Megan?
Yeah, I woke up this morning and I saw a picture of senators on the floor of Congress last night, all grouped together. I think we have a picture. And, they're obviously not socially quarantining. The average age of someone in the Senate is their 70s. And I think it's confusing for a lot of us who are quarantining, are being socially responsible in all ways. And by the way, also using our platforms to tell people to socially quarantine. When you see our leaders blatantly ignoring this, I know there are Senate rules, but these are different times under different measures. And I think it's just embarrassing at this point. I also think it's embarrassing that we have to rely on good people like your friend, Whoopi Christian Siriano, who is right now making hospital masks for our nurses and doctors who currently don't have them. And by the way, if anyone wants to make a donation to him, he has a GoFundMe page and it's all over his website. You can easily find it. Doing great work out of his, I guess, apartment, I think, with his staff making masks. So I've just been really disappointed in our leaders as well. And I just don't understand. I think you have to lead by example. And if you have the responsibility of being someone who's elected to Congress and when you are not abiding by that, how do you expect the American public to follow suit? And quite frankly, shame on these people.
Yeah. And don't send these cards out because what I want to hear from, I want to hear real stuff. No. But they sent it out. I did spray the hell out of it. I'm not going to lie. I sprayed and sprayed like I had a bouffant, honey. I sprayed it like a bouffant. And, in the past 24 hours, we have seen 2 landmarks in American history. The Senate has just passed the largest stimulus bill ever. Yeah. And there was also a record 3.3 million unemployment filings. The stimulus bill gives a $1,200 check to households making less than $75,000. Small business gets loans for monthly payroll and utility expenses and all kinds of stuff. And corporations get up to like $500 billion if they hold on to 90% of their employees for the next 6 months. I think it's a really interesting, good bill. There are things that I feel are problematic in it. But, let's see how you're going to get this money to people. Do they have to leave their houses to go to the bank? Do they have to give you all their information? If so, what are you going to do with it? I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff. And why aren't people getting this money instantly? How long do they have to wait before they get it?
Yeah, I mean, I actually applaud the Senate for actually, voting, getting it together. It was a unanimous vote, 96 to 0. I'm pleased with the amount. I don't know that it will be enough because it's $1,200 per person in a family that makes under $75,000. And we know so many families live paycheck to paycheck. And if you have kids, it's $500 per kid, but we're only talking about a one-time payment, and I just think that it's probably not going to be enough for struggling Americans. But there are going to be student loan payments are suspended for 6 months under this bill. That is significant for people that are struggling. Also, protections against foreclosures and evictions, and I think that's going to be significant. And then finally, I mean, we're talking about 3 weeks getting these payments. 3 weeks, a really long time, but again, at least they're doing something for these struggling Americans.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with you, Sonny, because I actually think the perfect, I'm sorry, I just started talking, but the perfect is of the good in all of this. But I do think I'm with you that this is the worst crash of unemployment since 1982 when there was 695,000 jobs lost. To compare it, it's 3 million right now. And I will say, I think we need to start easing up on rents and loans in this country for the average American family as well. It's not that people can't go out and work. It's that they are unable to.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I'm the fiscal conservative in the bunch, but what's the point of having government mandates if we can't help people in a crisis such as this? And I will say, we talked about this yesterday with Senator Schumer. The idea that someone like Boeing or an airline can use the stimulus package that we just gave them to order to bail them out right now and have them just buy back their stock, I think we need to put laws in place to make sure that doesn't happen, because that's big money. We're talking about billions of dollars that could be going to the average American who cannot work right now.
Well, I will say this. There is a provision that I read about this bill that puts in place they cannot buy back their stock for a year after paying back the loan.
But don't we think it should go further than that?
I do, actually, but at least there is a little bit of.
The important thing is that something passed, though, because we needed the immediacy, and then you can perfect it as we go. The thing I loved the best was the small business loans, that if you hold on to your employees and you keep their jobs, that you can be forgiven the loan altogether.
Yes.
The part that perplexed me a little bit was the money for the hospitals, because my understanding was not that there was a shortage of money as much as the physical supplies. So I'm concerned with possibly President Trump invoking the Defense Production Act in order to get the actual supplies made.
Yeah, where's the personal protective equipment?
But I think we need to start relying on private institutions at this point. And when you see people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos asking people for donations, there's a lot of conversations about billionaires and wealth in this country. Right now, your country is calling on you during a time of crisis. I don't want to hear about average Americans donating. I want to talk about the 1% of the 1% who's getting in action. You own a factory, Anheuser-Busch, a beer company that runs all the largest beer manufacturing in the country. Right now, they're using a bunch of their facilities to make hand sanitizer. I'm calling on
There's
every
a great place
person
in Brooklyn doing the same thing.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely.
And I think we have to start relying on the private sector, because it's clear that the institutions in our government are beyond broken, beyond anything I could have possibly fathomed. But some of these people, I don't want to hear it, Jeff Bezos. I don't want to hear you asking the average American for a donation. I want to see you going out and using Amazon for purposes like getting some of these people masks, these doctors in hospitals. There's a New York Times article out today talking about how all the doctors in this country are talking about how it's like working in Chernobyl, and they are writing their wills. This is not right in the United States of America right now.
And let's see some leadership out of the federal government. Let's see some leadership out of this administration, and let's force then these private companies to produce this PPE, these personal protective equipment.
Yes.